What if I told you that you could start earning passive income without being a Wall Street genius or having a family fortune? What if the path to making money while you sleep wasn't paved with complex charts, stressful gambles, and a vocabulary that sounds like a foreign language? Most people hear passive income, and they picture one of two things: either becoming a landlord buried in tenant complaints and leaky faucets, or being a day trader glued to a screen, riding the emotional roller coaster of the stock market. Both of those sound like a ton of work, and if you're anything like me, you appreciate the value of, let's call it, strategic laziness. The truth is, some of the most hands-off investment methods are also the most powerful for long-term growth. They're powerful because they're hands-off. They take the single biggest risk out of the equation: you. They stop you from panic selling, from chasing the next hot trend, and from overmanaging your money right into the ground. If you've always thought passive income was too complicated, too expensive, or just too much pure effort, this is for you. This is the Lazy Person's Guide to Getting Started, and we're going to break down the simplest, most effective ways to get your money working for you, instead of you always working for it. We're exploring the time-tested strategies that build real, sustainable wealth without needing your constant attention. Forget the myths. Forget the gurus promising to make you a millionaire overnight with some secret formula. You don't need to be an expert to do this. In fact, the entire philosophy here is to set up simple systems that pretty much run on their own, growing quietly in the background of your life. It's about being smart, not busy. It's about realizing that your time is your most valuable asset, and the goal here is to buy more of it back. So, let's get into it. We're going to build your lazy passive income portfolio from the ground up, starting with the absolute easiest method and then layering on more powerful, yet still incredibly simple strategies. Let's start at square one. This is for anyone who has some cash saved up, maybe a few hundred or a few $1,000s, and it's currently sitting in a standard checking or savings account at a big bank, earning a comical 0.1% interest. Right now, that money is actively losing purchasing power. Inflation is eating it for lunch every single day. The problem is simple: your money is asleep, and it's not even having good dreams. You want to earn something from it with zero effort and as close to zero risk as humanly possible. The solution is idea number one: the high-yield savings account, or HYSA. This is the bedrock of lazy income. It is, without a doubt, the easiest and safest first step you can take. An HYSA is exactly what it sounds like: a savings account that pays you a much, much higher interest rate than the national average. While your brick-and-mortar bank might be giving you pennies, a good HYSA, usually from an online bank, can offer rates that are 10, 20, or even 50 times higher. As of mid-2025, it's not uncommon to see rates between 4% and even 5% annual percentage yield. Think of it this way: a regular savings account is like storing your cash under a mattress. It's safe, but it's not doing anything. A high-yield savings account is like putting that cash in a special mattress that magically adds more money to the pile every month just for being there. So how do you do this the lazy way? The process is beautiful. You go online, choose a reputable online bank. Many have no minimum deposits or monthly fees, and you can open an account in about 10 minutes. You link your existing bank account, transfer the money, and you're done. That's it. You have officially entered the world of passive income. Is the income going to make you rich overnight? No, but it's significant for the sheer lack of effort. If you have $10,000 in an account earning 0.1%, you'll make $10 in a year. In a high-yield savings account earning 4.3%, you'll make $430. That's $420 of free money for 10 minutes of work. It's a no-brainer. It keeps your emergency fund accessible while also making sure it's at least fighting back against inflation. For a bonus lazy tip, if you have money you know you won't need for a specific period, say 1 or 2 years, you could look at a certificate of deposit or a CD. With a CD, you agree to lock your money away for a set term, and in exchange, the bank usually gives you an even higher interest rate. The only catch is a penalty if you pull it out early, so it's less flexible, but it's another safe, set it and forget it option. All right, you've parked your cash in a high-yield savings account, and it's generating some income with zero effort. You've had your first taste of passive income. But what if you want a bigger piece of the economic pie without having to actually, bake the pie? This brings us to idea number 2, getting paid just for owning stuff, specifically little pieces of big companies. Welcome to dividend investing. The problem for most beginners is that the stock market feels like a casino. You hear stories about people losing their shirts, and picking the right stock seems like an impossible task meant for financial wizards. You don't have time for quarterly earnings reports or analyzing price-to-earnings ratios. That sounds suspiciously like hard work. The solution is to invest for dividends, and to do it in the laziest way possible. First, what even is a dividend? It's simple. When you own a share of a company that pays dividends, you're a part owner of that business. When that business profits, it often shares a slice of those profits with its owners. That's you. They send you cash, usually every 3 months, just for holding their stock. It's a direct reward for being an investor. But here's the lazy person's masterstroke. You are not going to try and pick individual stocks. That's for people with too much free time and an appetite for stress. Instead, you're going to buy something called a dividend ETF or a dividend index fund. Think of it like this. Trying to pick one winning stock is like betting on a single horse. It's risky. Buying a dividend ETF is like betting on all the best horses in the race at once. An ETF, or exchange-traded fund, is a single investment that holds a basket of hundreds, sometimes thousands, of different stocks. A dividend ETF specifically holds stocks that are known for paying out reliable dividends. This is the ultimate lazy hack for 3 reasons. 1. Instant diversification. If one company in the fund has a bad year and cuts its dividend, you have hundreds of others to cushion the blow. 2. It's automated. The fund managers do the work of picking and maintaining the stocks. 3. It's low cost. These funds have incredibly low fees. Your only job is to open an online brokerage account, which is almost as easy as opening a bank account, and buy shares of a dividend ETF. Then you do the laziest and most powerful thing of all, nothing. Just hold it. You can even set up automatic reinvestment, so every time you get a dividend, it automatically buys you more shares of the fund, which then pays you even more dividends. This is compound growth in its purest, laziest form. The income potential varies, but many dividend funds offer a yield between 2% and 4%. This is on top of the potential for the stocks themselves to grow in value over time. It's a 2-for-1 deal. You get regular cash payments and long-term growth. If this is already starting to make sense and you're seeing how this lazy approach isn't just easier, but actually smarter and safer, do me a quick favor and tap that like button. It's a tiny, lazy action that tells the YouTube algorithm this guide is useful, and it helps more people who are tired of working too hard find this video. Next up, let's tackle the biggest passive income dream, real estate. Everyone knows someone who talks about their rental properties, but we've also all heard the horror stories. The 3 a.m. calls about a burst pipe, the tenants who don't pay rent, the endless repairs. That doesn't sound passive. That sounds like a second, very stressful job. The problem is clear. Owning physical real estate can be a fantastic investment, but it's expensive, a hassle to sell, and anything but passive unless you can afford a property manager. So what's the lazy person's solution? How do we become a real estate mogul from the couch? The answer is idea number 3, real estate investment trusts, or REITs. A REIT is a company that owns, operates, or finances income-producing real estate. Think shopping malls, apartment buildings, office towers, and warehouses. When you buy a share of a REIT, you're buying a tiny slice of that massive real estate portfolio. You get the benefits of real estate, like rental income and property appreciation, without any of the landlord duties. Here's the best part. By law, REITs must pay out at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders as dividends. This structure makes them powerful dividend payers, often with higher yields than standard stocks. And how do we do this the lazy way? You buy them just like a stock. Log into your brokerage account, search for a REIT or a REIT ETF, which holds a diversified basket of many different REITs, and buy shares. That's it. You are now a commercial and residential real estate investor. You'll start getting your cut of rent checks from thousands of tenants, all without ever having to unclog a single toilet. The income potential here can be very attractive, with many REITs and REIT ETFs offering dividend yields in the 4% to 8% range, and sometimes even higher. You get a steady stream of income, and your investment can grow as the properties appreciate. Of course, there are risks a REIT's value can fluctuate. Different sectors are affected by economic trends. Office buildings might struggle while e-commerce warehouses thrive. But that's why the laziest approach is often the best. Buying a broad REIT ETF diversifies you across many of these sectors, smoothing out the ride. So far, we've covered owning cash, the safe way, companies, and property, the lazy ways. But what if you look at the stock market, even in a diversified fund, and still feel a little nervous? What if you're a truly conservative, lazy investor who just wants stability and predictability? The problem is, you want your money to grow, but you also want to sleep soundly, knowing that wild market swings won't wipe you out. You want an investment that acts like a calming anchor in a stormy sea. This leads us to idea number 4, bonds and bond funds. Bonds are basically the opposite of stocks. When you buy a stock, you're buying ownership. When you buy a bond, you're lending money. You are the bank. You lend money to a corporation or a government like the US Treasury, and they promise to pay you regular interest payments, then return your original investment at the end of a set period. It's one of the most predictable investments in the world. But again, picking individual bonds and managing maturity dates can get complicated. That's not the lazy way. The lazy person's approach? You guessed it, bond ETFs and bond index funds. Just like with stocks and REITs, you can buy one fund that holds thousands of different bonds from various corporations and governments. This massively diversifies your risk. The chance of a major company or the US government failing to pay you back is incredibly low, but by owning a fund, you're protected from isolated incidents. Think of it as being the world's most diversified loan shark, but completely legal and with very reliable clients. You're not making one big loan. You're making thousands of tiny loans to thousands of different entities, all contractually obligated to pay you back with interest. The income potential from bonds is generally lower than stocks, but their key feature is stability, with yields often ranging from 2% to 5% annually, depending on the type. When the stock market is volatile, high-quality bonds often hold their value or even go up, providing a crucial buffer for your portfolio. They are the defensive players on your investment team. Adding a bond fund to your lazy portfolio is the ultimate act of strategic laziness. It's an admission that you don't want to predict the future. You just want a balanced portfolio that can handle whatever the market throws at it, letting you ignore the daily news and get on with your life. Now that we've covered the core, time-tested, lazy investments, let's touch on a couple of modern ideas. These require more upfront work, so they are less lazy to start. But once built, they can become pure passive income. I call this being a digital landlord. You create a small piece of digital real estate that works for you 24/7. The problem here is that you might not have tons of cash to invest, but you do have some knowledge, a skill, or a passion. The first solution is Idea 5A, selling a simple digital product. This isn't about writing a 300-page masterpiece. Think smaller, think lazier. We're talking about creating something once that you can sell an infinite number of times. What could this be? A simple ebook, maybe just 30 pages, on a topic you know well, like a guide to fixing common bike problems. It could be a set of digital templates, like a budget spreadsheet or a resume template. If you're artistic, it could be a pack of digital art prints or stock photos. The work is all up front. You create the product one time, then you upload it to a marketplace like Etsy, Gumroad, or Amazon, set a price, and you're done. The platform handles the payment and delivery. Your digital asset is now for sale to the entire world, and every sale is almost pure profit that requires zero extra effort from you. The second solution is Idea 5B, affiliate marketing, the lazy way. Affiliate marketing is simple. You recommend a product, and if someone buys it through your unique link, you get a commission. The hard way is becoming a massive influencer. The lazy way is to create one small, targeted piece of content that answers a specific question. This could be a single blog post reviewing the 5 best coffee makers for a small apartment, or one YouTube video comparing 2 brands of running shoes. You create this helpful content once, put your affiliate links in the description, and let search engines do the work. People looking for that exact information will find your content today, tomorrow, and years from now. Every time they click and buy, you earn a small commission. It's a tiny digital employee working for you around the clock. So, Where do you start? It can feel like a lot, but the lazy approach is to keep it simple. You don't need to do everything at once. The key takeaway is that passive income isn't a myth or a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a slow, steady, and yes, lazy process of building systems that generate income without you. Let's recap the lazy portfolio. You start with a high-yield savings account as your safe foundation. Then you add a layer of growth with a diversified dividend ETF. You add another layer of income and diversification with a REIT ETF, becoming a landlord without the headaches. And you anchor it all with the stability of a bond ETF to protect you from market storms. The real power here is automation. Set up automatic transfers to your investment accounts. Turn on dividend reinvestment. Create a system that runs itself. Your only job is to resist the urge to mess with it. The philosophy is set it and forget it. Check your portfolio once or twice a year, not once or twice a day. The less you touch it, the better it will likely do. Building passive income takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But the incredible thing is that it works. By taking these small, simple, lazy steps today, you are planting the seeds for a future where your financial freedom isn't tied to the hours you work. You're building a money machine that works for you, so one day you won't have to. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Pick just one of these ideas. Open that high-yield savings account. Buy one share of a dividend ETF. Take that first step, no matter how small it feels. Your future, much lazier self will thank you for it. Now, I'm curious, which of these lazy income ideas are you most excited to try first? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching.